We're back. It's the Marriage and Money Podcast with Egypt and Mike.
Yes.
Gratitude.
That's your
Gratitude.
word today?
That's my word today. I just woke up feeling grateful for so many things. And I decided a while ago to get into the practice of a gratitude journal. So when I wake up in the morning, I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. And then it's just hard to go backwards from that.
Okay.
You know, when you're feeling grateful, even for the small things, it's like anything else is not going to rock me off my axis.
I agree. My feeling today was, how can I leave things better than I found them? Adding value, right? So value is my word today.
I know how you can leave things better than you found them.
How's that?
Clean up after yourself.
Wait, I know you are not talking about cleaning up. Your vanity right now looks like a train wreck.
No, exactly.
Okay?
No, I mean,
which
like,
it always does. You guys know that already,
I
right?
cleaned the bathroom. I come in 10 minutes later. He got his laundry sprawled all over the floor. You wouldn't know how to leave things better than you found them. Just leave things better than you found them.
This is what we're doing today. Leave my face better than you found it. Get your makeup off me.
Love you.
Okay? Yeah.
So we got some amazing guests coming in today. Trina Braxton.
Yeah.
And Vaughn Scales.
Yes,
I guess we can't call them newlyweds anymore. They've been married for 3 years. But this is a hysterical couple.
Yes,
we got a lot to talk to them about.
A lot.
Before we do, what do we need to talk about? We always like to use this as our catharsis in the beginning.
You know what was on my mind today? Blended family, which we have, right? When we got together, I was worried you weren't going to be interested in me because I already had a daughter. Did that make you feel some type of way?
That you are, 200% honest. Yes. When you're out there in the streets, I was out in the streets, looking for love in all the wrong places. And I had my list of what I wanted.
In all the wrong places.
We don't want no trademark copyright issues. So, but I did create sort of like a list of what my dream man was. And truth be told, there were some things that came in your package, which is a beautiful package, by the way, that were contrary to my list.
Okay.
Like, I never thought I wanted a man who had been married before and then divorced. I did not want a man who had children, But sometimes God gives you the biggest gifts unwrapped. You didn't come in this big box with a red bow on it. It wasn't perfect, but God is my perfect. You're my perfect. Our family's my perfect. But the biggest thing for me in meeting Simone, and Simone's now in college. She's our baby. She's 21. And I came into her life when she was 3. I was fearful that I wasn't ready to be a mom or a stepmom for that matter. Also, because I know the hell I put my stepdad through.
Yeah.
He came into my life when I was 4, 1 year older than Simone. And every chance I got, I was reminding him he wasn't my dad. Every time I got in trouble, you ain't my real dad. You not my. And it's just being a step parent can be a very difficult place to be because here you are loving on this child. Bonus parent, which is what we decided.
Yes.
I'm Moni's bonus mom. It's a difficult place to be sometimes because you're raising that child. You're there for them through thick and thin. They're in your house, often or vice versa. And so you're in the role of a parent, but then if the other parent is still in the picture, there's only certain lines you can cross. Yeah. So for instance, with your ex-wife, very much still being in Simone's life, I didn't feel like I could discipline her. I didn't feel that mommy bond was mine to have at first because her mom was there and she was bonding with her mom. So, I didn't know how to navigate that. And I prayed. I stayed prayed up on it because, she was the most beautiful little child and soft-spoken and sweet and full of love. Yeah. But I just didn't know how, you know what I mean? And sometimes the best way, and there's a lot of people that are in this situation now, is lead with love. Yeah. You can't get it wrong when you lead with love. And what I decided was forget about what I didn't know. I knew I loved you and I wanted you. I knew she was part of the package and I was going to love on her until she loved me.
There you go.
Everything that I had to give, even if it wasn't much and even if I had a lot to learn as a mother and as a woman, truly, everything I did have to give, I was going to give it to her.
Well, let me give you some
what you going to do?
Because your flyaway is over here going away. This is love, y'all. This is love. And God makes no mistakes.
I was all up in like an emotional, sentimental moment. This is what he does. At our wedding, like right in the middle of the vows, I was saying my vows. And he's like, to the minister, stop for a second. And he starts fixing my eyelash.
Because had I not, and she saw them pictures, she would have said, why you ain't helped me out, okay? So fellas, take note.
He literally stopped our wedding vows, though, to fix our eyelash. Anyway.
So did Mrs. Softy, but that's a whole nother story.
Wedding vows, all of that. Wait, Mr. Softy?
Remember the ice cream song was playing?
Oh, yeah.
On our vows?
Well, you just can't throw that out there without context. But speaking of which, we have an amazing couple.
Yes.
They've been married 3 years, both successful in their own right. You know Miss Trina Braxton
Yes, you do.
from the Braxton Family Values. She's been singing since she was a child. You may not know enough and need to know more about her husband, Vaughn Scales. Let me put my glasses on to read his resume here because we got to give him his proper props.
Vaughn Scales, a.k.a. Vaughnis, because he stays being honest.
That's right.
Okay.
That's what those who know him call him Vaughnis. Former basketball player in college, super successful businessman, worked for CompuWare, Maxim Investment Group, Wells Fargo Home Mortgage, currently owns Pro IV Chronic Pain Center in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Trina Braxton, Vaughn Scales. Hey!
Get into this.
Welcome to the show. Hi, friend.
Hey, friend.
Yes.
How are you?
Appreciate you.
You know what? I have no cause to complain.
I miss you.
I miss you.
Yeah, you look great. You're aging backwards. It's not fair.
Won't he do it?
Won't he do it? Did he, won't he? Wait, okay.
Wait,
so
that's because of Vaughn. That's what
when you're
what you
happy.
see over here.
Is that what that is? Put me on the program.
you're a fool. So wait, Vaughn, Trina made you chitlins when y'all were dating? Is that how she
Chitterlings.
caught you? Chitterlings. I'm sorry,
She said it right.
chitterlings.
No, she didn't make them for me. She just made them. So it was Thanksgiving, our first holiday together. I spent Thanksgiving with my family, and then that night I drove down. So I got there about 2 a.m.
I was worth it. You're welcome.
We'll get to that later. Anyway, so I think I'd been to her house like 5 times total.
Okay.
I walked in there, and I'm like, I went right into the bathroom and got the Lysol, and I sprayed the whole house.
Well, because chitlins
horrible.
stink. Like,
This
what made
is
you think that was a good
horrible.
idea to make some chitlins for
Horrible.
your man? And you didn't even
No, but I
know
don't
if
eat
he
them.
liked chitlins.
No,
That's
but
what most people don't like them.
He doesn't like them, but it's something that I do every year.
Ugh.
I only make them once a year.
Woo.
I make them for Thanksgiving, just once a year. But if we're in a relationship, he needs to see who I am. I'm not going to put on airs just because he's coming to visit.
But you were being raw.
I didn't
I'm
know.
just going to like this. He's driving 5 hours to see me.
9 and a
hours
half.
to see. And
Right,
I'm going to
and
light
then
this
pull
house
up
up
to
with
that,
some chitlins
exactly.
to see if he really loves me.
Well, he did taste them. He did taste
Not
them.
that. That's not that time. That's no, I didn't.
You did taste them. You took a forkful.
When did I taste them? That
Oh,
was
see,
after
you ain't even
took
know
an
you were
IV.
eating chitlins.
No. That's not the story. That's after you took an IV. Get the story right.
Well, yeah, but they don't want to hear that whole
okay.
entire backstory. But
I
you
had
took
to.
a
I had to take a
forkful.
forkful because I was
It was a bet that
I
we
was
had.
giving
So it
her
was like a,
IVs, and what. And
Did
she's
you?
afraid
But
of
you
needles.
survived and
so I
married
took
her. So
one,
clearly
yeah.
they were some good chitlins.
No,
they-
he didn't. No, he
I threw
spit
them
them
up.
out. Yeah.
I threw them up. Threw 'em up.
But
They were as bad as I thought they'd
he
be.
knew he liked
Horrible.
them. He knew he liked them. But I'm gonna tell you something. For everyone who says that they don't eat chitterlings, we're talking about married people
Chitterlings.
and people who are in a relationship. Look, if you can eat certain things in a relationship, you can eat chitterlings.
Okay, goodbye.
Okay,
Trina,
now.
hello and goodbye.
Yeah.
I warned you. I warned you. I told you Trina crazy.
I'm just saying, if you could do that, you can eat chitterlings.
But so
This
we
is-
do. You
this
said we
is
don't want to.
money.
You like our
Marriage.
logo?
No, I'm saying just stay on.
She's trying
This
to
is what
tell
we're
bring
talking
it
about.
back.
But that is what marriage. If you could
Marriage
do
and
certain,
money, I'm
if you
sorry.
could do certain things in the marriage,
But
you can eat chitterlings.
Marriage and money. There's
The marriage bed is undefiled. I'm just saying.
Wait, all right. We got to roll it back a minute. I got to know. You said they don't want to know the whole history. We want to know the history. We want to know, how did this love affair begin? You
Yes.
guys have been married for 3 years.
Yes, about to be. Yeah.
Where did it start?
I was doing business with a guy that just happened to live in her neighborhood. And I was coming out of a relationship. And he said, when you're ready, I got somebody for you to meet.
Mm.
And we met and it kind of worked out, I guess.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Wait, did you? So you knew it was Trina Braxton from the start?
Mm-mm.
No. What do you mean?
Did I tell that story?
Tell the story.
Tell the
It
story.
it sounds bad.
Let us in.
It doesn't sound
my
bad,
friends
but
know
it's-
it. People
it's
don't
the
believe it,
situation.
but it's true. I mean, I knew her name was Trina, and I at some point had gotten her last name,
Mhm.
but in my phone I put it in as Trina, and we exchanged whatever. Because he's the only one I've ever met.
Mhm.
So it was about, I guess the first time I went to your house. She took me downstairs, and she went back up to get something to drink. I'm looking around, I'm like, damn, this chick likes Toni Braxton because there's pictures everywhere.
First of all, it wasn't just Toni; it was family pictures.
But it's the only person It's my story, so let me finish.
But it wasn't like Tony's platinum and gold. It was from the Braxtons, like from me.
My story.
We gonna not...
Let me tell it.
Okay,
so I'm looking at it because so she's in the forefront. I'm like, damn, what is this? Like some kind of super fan or something like that. And I'm like, wait a minute, that looks like her. And so when she came downstairs, I said, do you know her? And she's like, that's my sister. I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, you didn't know? I'm like, mm-mm.
Yeah.
And you liked that he didn't know, didn't you?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it.
I thought she was some kind of super fan. I did not know.
And so you got the show going on. You guys are mega, super successful. The Braxton family is one of the most well-known families in the world.
Yep.
And you finally found the man that had no idea who you were.
Well, the funny thing is that my mother knew when I come out of a relationship. She goes, you seeing anybody? I said, well, I met this chick named Trina. I think, there may be something there. She goes, the only Trina I know of is Trina Braxton. I'm like, yeah, that's her. She's like, how you know her? I'm like, I met her through whatever. And then she told me she knew everything because she'd been watching the show since day one. So she knew everything about it. I'm like, yeah, she told me that.
So I told him, don't judge me.
Yeah.
Did your mom like her?
My mom did like her. She asked her some tough questions.
She did.
I get that from my mom.
What? Okay, we got to know. What mom say?
Well, mom asked me about previous relationships. She asked me what was going on with my second husband. She was very no holds barred when it came to it.
Because she told me, she said, well, she married him twice. I'm like, what? Oh, okay.
Well, I married him a couple times because we were on the verge of divorce like 4 or 5 times. So
that conversation was hilarious. My mom was just rapid fire. But you know what? But she stood up to it. She took it. I'm like, oh, okay. That's kind of cool. Because my mom's gone now, but she was tough.
Let's stay right there then. Knowing both parties were in past relationships, how did you deal with that? Did that create a wedge anytime? Or
I bet you it's like love's better the second time around.
No, I was fine with it because I was married way back. By the time we got married, I've been divorced 20 years. But I always knew I was going to get married again. And so when we met, as a matter of fact, we were having a conversation and we were talking and she said, I'm never getting married again. And I'm like, we don't have shit else to talk about because I'm getting married again. It was the wrong person, but I knew that I liked parts of it and I wanted to try it again. I'm like, we don't have shit else to talk about. Let's just be friends. And then she's like, wait, I didn't mean it like that.
I wanted to be more than my friend.
No, but I wasn't going to, at the time I was 48. I wasn't wasting any time. No, I wasn't. I'm like, cool, we can be friends. Matter of fact, introduce me to one of your friends who wants to get married. I was something like that, 47, 48, somewhere around there.
No, you were older.
No, I'm not. I'm 54 now, and we've known each other 5
years.
So I was 49.
You were 49, and then we celebrated 49. Your 50 year together.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, so I was 48, 49, something like that.
But so Trina, how did you know Vaughn was going to be your next husband? Considering, was that the third time around for you?
You know what? Why you got to talk about old stuff?
I'm just
3.5.
I'm going to throw something at you.
You married that other one twice, so 3.5.
No, well, can I say this? She used to be on the show, Sister Circle, and that's when I first, not even on your show, that's when I first heard about you, right? Was when you were on the show.
Yeah.
But it was like she was floating. She was like, girl, I got a chocolate man. Chocolate man. She was floating.
But it wasn't just that. It was his honesty. And it could be off-putting to a lot of different people, but it was like no holds barred. What you saw was what you got. And I never had to guess. And he was like that no matter who he was in front of. You got the same person consistently every time. And in the beginning of our relationship, he was... I can't. In the beginning of our relationship, he was just very honest about his situation. He was honest about...
You can say it. She wanted me to come down to see her. I'm like, I can't afford to. I'll be down in 3 weeks. I can't afford to right now.
Yeah, and I was like...
Where somebody else might have put on a front.
Yeah, I'm like,
or they might have thought she's a celebrity, so I got to, at least act like I can.
You know what? No. All you owe people is the truth. After that, they get to make a choice.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Yes.
It.
And he allowed me a choice.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? The truth always gives you a choice. And with a lie, you have to kind of manipulate your way through it. And that wasn't the case here.
Yeah.
So I was like, I could deal with this dude.
At any point, knowing your financial situation, did you feel like, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if she's going to receive or accept me for who I am?
No, I never thought that because it was situational because with the business that you're talking about, I just started it.
Mm-hmm.
So every dime that I had was going to that. So I didn't have money to fly down here.
I think, Mike, you can relate to that. When we first got together or, decided to get serious, he launched his business as a contractor and he was still in school. So he had a 3-year-old child. So there's child support, there were a lot of elements.
Other factors.
Yeah.
And he came to me, what was that, date number 2 and said, look, this is my situation. Before we go any further, I need to lay it out there. If you have a problem, let me know.
Yeah.
I was like, I do have and
like
here's the
that.
thing. I said, I do have a problem. It does not align.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be friends.
Yeah.
But I couldn't just be friends.
Right. Okay, cool.
I was like, I think I love he.
Yeah.
Because the truth shall set you free.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what I saw in him was like, he's an honest, genuine, authentic person. He's not hiding, trying to be something else. Even though it does not align with my checklist, which
Right.
was like,
Okay, I got a question.
Yeah.
How long had you had that checklist?
too long.
That's my point.
Too
So
long.
then you meet him and it's right. Okay,
I was
checklist
in
is-
my mid-30s, with no prospect
Checklist sometimes
because
can be
my
a little
checklist
flawed.
was leading
Oh,
the
yes,
way.
it can.
Yeah.
be a
Yes,
little
it can. I dissolved that.
Yeah,
checklist.
but here's the thing, and this goes into me coming into this world you lived in, you probably didn't live in it.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't get that. I've seen the people that she associates with, and I don't. And in my life, I don't know any men like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't know where these dudes come from. So
Yeah.
So when he was honest with you, it probably slapped you across the face because you've never even had that before. Because most people tell people in your position what they want to hear.
Right.
Well, no, it made me, and I don't know if you felt this way, Trina, it made me decide what type of woman I wanted to be. Did I want to be a woman who was fed a bunch of lies or things look good on paper? And so because of
they fall
that, that's
apart.
the relate, right? And then it falls apart. It's not real. Or do I want somebody who can be honest with me, step up to the plate, and we can build together? 18 years later, we
go.
made the right decision.
Yeah,
sir.
sure.
Yeah, I told her, I said, I'll be on top again. I said, but I'm not now. So if you eat that right now, then, you got an option to make.
Yeah.
I'll be all right.
It was refreshing to find someone that I could actually build a life with. I'd been married twice already, so I had 2 husbands, and I hadn't built anything with either one of them. There was nothing to expound upon. But now there are things that we can look forward to together, and I'd never had that before in my life.
You speak about your past husbands very freely. And, I understand that when Vaughn, you came into her life, her last husband had cancer and was passed.
We didn't know.
At the time,
You
at
didn't
the
know
time, yeah.
We didn't know. No.
But that was a point of contention because my second husband and I, after our divorce, we still became very good friends.
Yeah.
And I mean, can we have this conversation?
I've
Or
already started it. You have to finish it now. Yeah.
okay, so it gotten to a point to where we were talking very often, almost daily. Okay, daggone near daily, and he had a problem with it. And in my mind, I'm like, well, we're not doing anything wrong. We're not saying anything wrong. We're not talking about our past. We're not talking about anything sexual. We're not talking about, inappropriate things. But he's like, look, if you find that you need to talk to this dude every day, why are you not still with him? Why am I here?
Right.
Make a choice.
Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Make a choice. That's simple.
Mm-hmm.
But-
and the point of contention came because that honesty I gave her, I didn't get right up front. It took a minute. When
So
I
you
found out,
didn't
I'm
know
like,
they were still talking.
And I'm like,
wait.
No, wait. No, I knew. But when I found out the frequency, I'm like, that's a little bit different than because I spoke to my ex-wife because we had kids. So I'm like, okay, maybe talk every 2-3 weeks or something like that. I didn't know it was that frequent. I'm like,
That's a big negative, soldier. That's a big negative, soldier. I'm saying that I told him we spoke often.
but right, and okay, hold on. She did. But that my often was every 3 weeks.
Okay,
You know
got
what
it.
I mean? So she did say that.
Got it.
So I'm like, every 3-4 weeks, yeah, that's because to me, speaking to an ex that much is often.
Did you ever think, but if she really wanted him, she'd have still been married to him?
Oompa doompa.
No, but it's either, and that, so y'all come from the same school. So,
No, we really don't.
Okay,
I agree with you, but I'm
saying-
just being devil's
no,
advocate.
but
I
I'm
do,
saying-
Trina. I agree with him.
But-
I wouldn't want him talking to his
We
ex-wife every
would
day.
go further into this, but let him. Yeah, I'm here.
but I understood that, but it wasn't about that. Because it's like, things are going to be fair and they're going to be equal, which is something she's not used to. So she's used to doing whatever, But the rules are different for the guys. That
So you didn't care. You were like, I don't care that you're Trina Braxton. I don't care about the celebrity.
This is how it's going to be with me.
I can be with you or not be with you.
This is going to be how it's going to be with me. I'm not going to say what I said, but there's a bunch of dudes that'll let you do whatever you want.
Right.
You need to go find one of them. Because with me, it doesn't work that way. And you just make a choice.
Trina.
Right.
While that is true, he does know and understand that we were also, we had a show that we were working on together. And then he ended up with cancer and then passed away. And the first year of the divorce between my husband and I, we did not talk at all. And then next thing you know, we're like, okay, well, we still have this venture that we're working on together, blah, blah, blah. We need to, work on another friendship.
And I was fine with that, yes or no?
Yes.
I was like, you need to do that. Go get your money.
Go make your money.
Yes.
Do it.
Yes. But the frequency of the conversation was problematic.
Because his thing is like, if y'all got to work together on camera, but I mean, come on, the conversations on a daily basis. How can you, I can see that. How can you build forward if you're looking backwards?
If you're looking backward.
But I wasn't looking backwards.
But no, here's the thing. Whether you were or not, that's something that's internal to you. But the perception, the way it looked, it's like you got your foot in two pools. It's cool. I can find another pool.
But so how do you bring that to closure?
Well, if I have to be honest, I'm actually glad she was talking to him as much as she was.
Okay.
Because what neither of us knew at the time, nor he, this was his last time on earth. And if, they had a friendship, whatever they had, it was his last time. I'm glad he wasn't sitting, because he didn't have a wife or girlfriend or anything, so I'm glad he at least had somebody that was in his corner while he was going through that. So in hindsight, it happened the way it was supposed to. It doesn't mean I didn't have an attitude. I didn't have misgivings about it. When I look at it from this perspective, I'm glad that it happened.
Yeah. Mike kind of laid down the law early on in our relationship too, because here's the thing. It was the development of social media. At the time, there was MySpace. Remember that? There was,
I'm
then
too
it was
young for MySpace.
Facebook and Twitter. This was before Instagram. This was before TikTok, but there was still some level of social media activity. And so people were just connecting like on Facebook. No harm done, but exes were coming out of the woodwork, liking me or friending me or whatever, and sending little messages. And I would just send a message back, how are you doing? Good to hear from you, whatever. And one day, because it was so innocent for me, one day I'm responding back to one of my exes just saying, so good to hear from you. Looks like life's treating you well. He was like, is that, what are you and him be talking? Like, what's going on here? He's like, nah. My name is Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson.
All right now.
Well, it was the first time that he put the clank down. And it was really attractive. It was really like alpha man activity. But
Ain't that cute though? Don't you know you like it?
I did like it. I loved it.
I like it a lot.
But but see, for me, there was no harm in it because they were exes for a reason. And at some point, I saw something in you enough that I cared, but enough that I cared about you to want to see you do well, And so it's like, hey, you reached out. Good. Thank you for reaching out. But there was not like a constant conversation.
I want all of my exes to do, I'm sorry.
No, keep going.
All of my exes to do well over there.
Yes, exactly. From afar. So the
I
reason
see what kind of breaker upper you are.
The reason why I had...
Wait, I'm sorry. Let that live, babe.
No. The reason why I had the clanks and the lockdowns is because it had nothing to do with her. I trusted her. It was the men's intention, right? Don't roll your eyes, Trina.
I didn't roll them. I closed them ever so slightly.
Because she knows you're right.
So what?
Knowing men of a certain caliber or a lesser caliber, it's them trying to play a role for a while. Like, okay, I'm gonna just be saying hi and hello just for a little bit, hoping something happens in that relationship. So when it does, I'm here for the rebound. Like I've been saying hi for months, right? Their intentions for the most part is never really, I'm trying to check on you to see if you're okay. So are you
saying men can't really genuinely want to just be friends with women?
No.
Knowing the gentleman that was reaching out to you? No.
KD's shouting across the studio, no.
Okay.
No.
I disagrey, homeboy. I disagree,
I'm not saying, but this particular gentleman.
I want to say something first.
Trey in the situation.
Because dude just said everything that I've said to you. it's thank you so much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No.
Because oh my God. It's like,
So wait, let's do this because we could sit on this one forever. We're gonna
let her go.
You say
let her go.
You go. Since you already told me, I'm going to have to put a stamp, a little stamp with a period on the end of it. That
we're gonna have this whole conversation. So
is
be careful.
the crappiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh my God, no,
gosh,
it's not.
I don't trust. It's not that I don't trust you. I don't trust them. If you trust me, it doesn't matter if you trust them.
No.
Because you should know that I'm not going to do anything outside of the parameters of our relationship.
It's not about
so
that.
you don't have to trust them or
It's
not.
not about that. If that gentleman knows,
Listen.
especially if it's
I
a
know what he's gonna
MySpace.
say.
Throw something out there?
Wait, if this
I
is
know
the
what he's gonna say.
MySpace
Go
and all
ahead.
this other, you see she's married, but your intentions have nothing to do with saying hi.
It's up to her to
It doesn't
engage.
matter.
Hold on.
Wait.
Because this
can I get a
gentleman is
word in?
disrespecting
Please.
you.
Trina,
Right?
Trina,
Disrespecting
woman to
By
woman.
you responding constantly, you're
You
okaying him.
disrespecting me.
That's all I'm saying. It's up to her.
Trina, so woman to
Exactly
woman.
what- exactly.
Here's when I'll tell you I finally got it. Okay. Because I didn't
it
for a
happened in
while.
reverse?
And it happened in reverse.
That's when y'all get it. Exactly.
I for a long time would argue with him that, so you mean to tell me I gotta shut everybody down in my life in order for you to stay in my life? Yes, that.
Yes,
And I
I
was
know.
like, that
I
just
know.
doesn't make sense. That tells
Same
me
shit
you
she
don't
said.
trust me and all of that. So my husband, in addition to owning his business, he was a physical trainer. And for a while.
Here we go.
And, we're in Atlanta, and these women, we're all on his social media page, and they seeing what he's doing. All of a
No,
sudden,
but
he's
it's
getting
cool though,
phone
right?
calls.
We just friends.
Yeah, he's getting phone calls. Come train me.
Yeah,
Come
but
train
it's cool
me.
though.
Come
We're just
train
friends.
me.
I'm just checking on them.
And
I want them to do well in
one
life.
in particular, she would text him at crazy hours of the night.
Right.
She texted him one time at 1:00 in the morning.
Strategic.
Just these crazy hours. It was strategic.
Hoping
You know
she was-
why?
'cause she
Hoping
thought
I
you
would
was
have a
asleep.
problem. No, hoping I'd
Well-
have a problem with it and it would cause discord
Right, you
here.
can slide on in
So
there. Right.
for me, I said, he was like, this is just a friend, just a client, just a friend. So we came up with these rules, no new friends, right? And he said, oh, so you don't trust me? I can't have
Hold
female
on, right.
clients?
Wait, just a minute ago.
He got to see what it felt like on my side, and I got to see what it felt like on his
Y'all
side. So
quiet
what
over
that
there.
created was
letting
an
her talk. I'm
opportunity.
letting her talk. Go ahead.
It created an opportunity for us to define new rules in our relationship. And the same rules must apply across the board.
Before you gasp,
Oh,
sir,
damn.
the reality of the situation is this. I am not that chick. He has female friends at the yin yang, and I don't care. As a matter of fact, I encourage him to talk to a couple of his exes. I'm like, because some things need to be closed up. Wait, tell the truth. Is it not true? Is it not true?
What you're saying is true, and I'm trying to figure out why I would talk to them.
But what I'm saying is, I believe in it being, fair across the board. He works. I only had one problem with one chick. I had one problem with one chick, and I tried to help her first. And then she came out. She made me come into my bag. She made me
That's a difference.
say words that I'm not accustomed to saying.
How does that work? Trina Braxton just cussed me out. Trina Braxton, I watch her show, and
I had
she
to.
called
I
me
had
and
to
cussed
on a
me out.
daily. I had to because she was disrespectful.
How so?
She shouldn't have called at certain hours of the night.
Same. Understood.
There were certain times she would do things on purpose, like send me texts. Don't send me a text about my husband. I already know who he is. And then she tried to curse me out before our wedding day because she wasn't invited. And I said, yeah, come on. I want you to. I have 4 sisters and a mama. And everybody else is going to be at you. Please show up. I beseech you by the mercy of God. Walk through that vestibule.
She's not saying anything that isn't true. First off, it's true. However, the timestamps where she's saying it's wrong to be calling us or not, that's the same thing that was happening with her.
With who?
With your ex.
My husband did not call me all times of the night. That is an untruth. This heifer would call you after hours with a question. That question, write that shit down and ask you tomorrow. She didn't have to ask you.
Why are you yelling?
I'm not yelling. I'm talking loudly, but I'm not yelling.
Okay, let's do this.
Let me
Let's
ask
do
you
this.
something.
Wait,
All right.
let's do this, okay? This is funny and this is honest. Y'all don't have to hold back here. You know why?
It
It's
won't.
a safe
We're not
place.
going to.
This is marriage and money, and there's nothing you're going through that we haven't gone through. There's nothing that you're going through that we haven't gone through. So this is our safe place to kind of have it out. And sometimes we think when we're enduring something that we're crazy. It's just us. But then when you say it and other people can relate, you're like, so I'm not crazy.
Right.
And but what I really want to lean into Vaughn a little bit, because what you may not realize, Trina, is there was so much power and levity in your name and in your family's name, not every man would have felt comfortable stepping into the Braxton family, truly. So I want to know from Vaughn, how do you keep a healthy marriage? What was that like for you stepping into this celebrity family?
So we made a decision to not go public about our relationship for a whole year, and I was real cool with that because I really thought that when we first started dating that the show was gonna like show up in my face. I didn't know how it worked. I'm like, I don't want that, right? So we decided a year, and then when our country ass friends, we're walking out of matter of fact, it's the day I met you two. Because we met at the Trumpet Awards.
I remember that.
Yes.
We went to the Trumpet Awards, and then after that, we had to leave there early. And she's stepping in front of people, because we got to go as the thing is being taped.
Well, because Tony had that
right.
premiere.
So we were going to Tony's premiere when she played the
Tufts.
the
Antoinette Tufts.
Yeah, the administrator that talked down the shooter here in Atlanta. So we had to go to that. So we were overdressed for that event because we were at the Trumpet Awards, And so we're walking out. One of her friends takes a video and films us. And I didn't understand exactly what was going on. But then when I saw her film, and I'm like, I stepped out of the way. I'm like, this is who you want to see, right? No, she posted that and it got 300,000 views like instantly. And this is like one of those awards, like in February. We've been dating 6 months at the time. And I'm like, I got 6 months to, get myself ready.
You're welcome.
And then, so that's on a Saturday. Sunday, I go back home to, work, and then she flies to LA, to Vegas. LA. Flies to LA to shoot, right? She calls me, and the first thing, not hello, hi, do you trust me? Like, yeah. Well, I need you to fly out to LA tomorrow to shoot. I'm like, to shoot what? And then she explained to me what happened. I didn't know. She said, remember that when you stepped out of the way and that lady was filming us? I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, she posted it and it got a bunch of views, and now the show wants to introduce you. And so it was like, where I thought I had 6 months, I had about 16 hours. And
But then, so that was just dating. That was a dating experience. Now you're in a marriage. How do you keep a healthy marriage knowing she's still in the spotlight?
One word.
And you didn't want no parts of that.
One word, boundaries.
Boundaries.
Have boundaries.
Define that.
Well, I mean, it's different because where I come from, some of the things that I'm asked to deal with here, I would deal with differently, 7-10 years ago. The one thing that you, as a woman, you'll never understand, and maybe you could, but it's hard to translate because the respect thing. He said respect, and that's, women need love, men need respect. So it's a different feeling altogether. So she's got to take pictures with people because that comes with the business. You have to do it too. I've seen you do it. I've been there while you were doing it. It just comes with the business. But then you get this clown that goes up and puts his arm around, which is fine. That's what. No, don't do that. Stop. Is that how you touch dudes you take pictures with?
I thought you wanted to get close.
No, I don't. No.
Show us what happens.
So yeah, they're like this, and that's cool, right? Then it's this one dude. He gonna put his hand here.
Oh, on her butt.
Right on the side. And so I grabbed it and pulled it up. And then he put it back. I pulled up like, bruh. And she's like, you can't do that. I'm like, I can't do what?
See, he was testing you.
See, that's the.
He wanted to see how far he could go.
That's my point. It's like, and it's like the only reason I'm not mashing your face in the ground is because I don't want to cost my wife a job.
Oh yeah.
Because any place else, bruh, come on, man.
Yeah.
But so when you ask me what it's like, that's blatant disrespect. But it's like 1,000 little pinpricks, just people just nagging.
Yeah.
And then they're saying negative things about your wife, on social media, and they want to act crazy. And then, women I want to take a picture, and they just push their purse into my chest like I'm supposed to catch it. And I let it hit the ground. I'm like, I'm not her assistant. You can ask me and I'll probably help, but you just can't throw your purse in my lap and expect me to hold it.
I am going to say this, and Vaughn played more than college basketball. He played basketball overseas, and can I say?
Oh my God,
Trina.
Trina.
Yeah. I got cut. So you already did it. So,
Yeah, but-
so I got cut, went overseas 2 days later. Right. So,
Yes.
yeah.
And then he wanted to play football for the Eagles, and then he said no, he didn't want to do that. But anyway, he went overseas and played basketball for some years. But y'all don't understand. What women out there don't understand is men like Mike, men like Vaughn, they are commodities. It's very difficult to find a man who is very forthcoming, very forthright, gainfully employed, believes in family, believes in values. And there are lots of women who would want to come in and see what it's like. They don't want what you
something
have.
like what you have. They want exactly what you have.
You understand what I'm saying? And they're nice, tall glasses of water, both of them. I'm thirsty. But it's the truth. And statistically, they say by 2050, there are going to be more single women.
2030.
Is it 2030? You understand?
That's only 8 years
That's
away.
like 8 years away.
Right around the corner.
To find a decent single man is going to be a true rarity. Mine's not single. But it's going to be very, very difficult.
Can we just take a minute to just laugh at Trina? Because I've been holding back. I got my tissue here. Like, I just got to let it go. But it's true. Men like the two of them are in high demand. So is that the challenge for you to deal with? Are you not used to being with, number one, because we can tell he's an alpha man.
Yes, he is.
So you're not used to being with an alpha man who is a tall glass of water, as you would say, who's gainfully employed. He's successful in his own right.
Yes.
So his swag matches your swag.
Yes, yes. But in my past, and I have nothing negative to say to or about the men that I've had in my past. However, I was more an alpha female in that relationship.
I get it.
And I'm not saying he had to take me down a few pegs, but he had to take me down a few pegs. And it is an amazing feeling to be able to lean on someone as opposed to being the person that someone else has to lean on and be the female. I'm not that, I'm an independent woman and I don't need no man. Yes, I do. Not only do I need one, I want one. Therein lies the difference. I don't want you to slide the bill to me. Don't you give me that bill. Give it to this man who can pay the bill.
It's amazing. I like numbers. The next few times you guys go out to dinner, just check tables around you. See how often the check gets set by the woman as opposed to the man in Atlanta. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You would never notice it, but he does.
No, I do notice it when, for years, we would go out to eat at restaurants and they would automatically hand me the check. And it bothered me.
Yes.
Like, why do you assume that you're handing me the check? So when they would come, I would just put it down right on the table. He instantly grabs it. That's something that's very attractive and sexy to me too.
Isn't
he
it
grabs
though?
it.
Yes.
And if I even wanted to treat him or I intended to say, no, I got this one because you pay for everything else and the groceries, he's like, no, what did I say? That's very attractive.
Yes.
To women who, and I think you guys understand, that's not a commonality anymore. Chivalry is not a commonality.
Anymore is the common denominator.
Yeah.
The real thing is that you could have very well ended up with a guy that would have been comfortable with all of that.
Yes.
And I'm not comfortable with someone who's comfortable with that.
Right.
That part. And
But see the thing, here's the thing, and I'm gonna talk about some of her stuff, but they play the role like they're that dude until, that shine wears off. That 6 to 12 months, they can be whomever they need to be. And then when it gets down to brass tacks, that's not who they really are. And then all of a sudden you're in a different situation.
Very recently, very, very recently, I had an event and there was a young lady and she was sitting down on her chair and she was actually eating. She got up out of her seat for him to sit down. And he was like...
I'm like, people actually take your chair?
Yeah, he was like, wait. There was a man in your life who actually allowed you to get up so he can sit down?
Serious?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of laid the law down to this young lady. He was like, don't you ever accept that. I mean, he just, he gave her like this 11-minute soliloquy of why she, I mean, it felt like it. You know how you go on and on and on, baby. You wear Jesus' sandals around the story. But he had to let her know, these are behaviors you cannot accept.
There were so many different facets of it that were just unnerving to me. I'm like, first off, you don't owe your seat to anybody first. Male, female, you don't really owe it. But secondly, no woman owes her seat to a man. And then what kind of man is sitting down and why are you okay with that?
Exactly.
Where did this happen?
You know what? Y'all are old school and I love a good old school. Like, listen, when I was a little girl, my grandfather, he was the big male figure in our family. His presence was felt before he entered a room. And when he spoke, everybody shut up because he had that resonance and authority in his voice. And you knew what he said was going to matter. And even if it didn't matter, y'all, we were so scared of him that it went, you know, type of thing. I always wanted to marry a man like that. Not that cowers me down.
Right.
Not that demands respect. That commands respect.
Right.
Someone that you trust leading you.
Exactly.
Right. That you trust to lead you because you know that they're going to step up to it. They're not going to lead you off a cliff.
Right. Right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, you just have, it's a character, right? You have to be that person, walk the walk, talk the talk, and actually be that person, right? And that's, I'm saying that to say is that I appreciate you saying that to that young lady, because that is one of the things a lot of households are lacking, because these young men and even grown-ass boys, I should say, have never seen it. So they don't understand it. They're going off of what they see on social media, what they see with their peers.
Or they were raised by their mamas, and their mamas, unfortunately, were treated like that by men. So they grew up thinking that's okay.
So it perpetuates itself, and the nuances continue over and over again, to where I get excited when I get invited to schools to talk, because they need it. So I appreciate you saying.
What were you going to say, Vaughn, though?
Just 2 days ago, I watched a woman open the door for a man. And they were a couple. And I looked at him, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he's like, I'm like, she opened the door for you and you walked in and
verbalized it.
Yeah, I said it to
so
him.
You're confrontational.
I don't care. and I looked at him, I'm like, don't you ever open the door for him ever again? I'm like, matter of fact, go open the door for her. She's seen me do this before. She's seen me, I'm like, open the door for her, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
In what universe is this cool, bro? Come on, man.
I will say this, though. When we first started dating, we went to the movies, and remember that? And I sat in the car until you opened my door. Now, I knew you were going to, but I sat in the car. I was not coming out of the car until he opened my door.
Now, there's a reason why I did that. Because I thought she was on the phone.
You thought she was on the phone, so you were giving her space.
I was just sitting there. Damn, I'm like, we're going to be late for the movie. And then I walked over there. And then I'm like, she's sitting. I'm like, oh, okay. But
we're going to be late because I'm going to sit there.
I did not know.
But that's fair. He thought you were on the phone.
I mean, no, because as you can see, he's a alpha male. He's a manly type man. He's not going to just sit there and let it happen. But whether I was on the phone or not, I'm going to sit there. And if I'm off the phone, I'm still going
I was giving her privacy.
But that's right, too. That's right, too, what you said, even though you always say it with like this thing that makes it hard for people to accept. But okay. So
whatever do you mean? Why?
Trina, come on. I know you for a long time. But I feel like, you know, what she did was, again, she didn't open the door, roll down the window and say, come over here and open my door.
Oh, never that.
No, she commanded the respect. And I really believe, usually when we wrap up the show, which we're about to do, we give one to go on and one to grow on. And so for me, one to go on is, you know, respect is something that's earned, but also people treat you the way you allow them to treat you. And so if you're not being treated right, you got to look around and figure out, what are you giving permission, even if it's nonverbal permission, for people to continue to do to you.
You're so right, because we had a situation early on, and she said something, and I'm like, hey, you don't get to talk to me like that.
That did happen.
Change it. Now.
I don't accept that.
And it's that simple. And it's like, you have a choice. And she said, I said something to her, and it was harsh, but, and the thing is, and the men in the room will understand this, I wasn't even that mad. It was just time.
And also,
she just been pushing them. I'm like, I'm not even that mad. I'm watching football.
I'm cracking up. I know her for a long time. I feel like you met somebody that's about time for you.
I was like, our time here is not even long enough, because we didn't even touch the tip of the iceberg at all.
We talk marriage and everything else in between, but we also like to talk money. So as we wrap up, tell us, money-wise, what's your philosophy in your relationship?
2 takeaways someone can dive into.
That's okay. She's been ahead of me on this. Because I looked at it, you know, it's if I'm being honest, I'm just going
to... Tell your truth, baby.
It wasn't until earlier this year that I even knew how much money she made. Because I didn't want to know. It's none of my business. She didn't like it, you know, but I said, what's hers is hers, what's mine is ours. That's the way I've always looked at it.
What's hers is hers, and what's yours is ours.
And I mean, the way it was, I was raised, I mean, my parents were married until my father died. It was always my mama's house. That's my mother's house. It was never his. It's everything, it was her stuff. Like, he never went in my mom's purse. It was always, that's her stuff. And then what my dad brought was ours. Now, she didn't really adhere to that. She would, they would mix it, but it was always separate. And then the thing is that she's a celebrity and all these people around or whatever, and there are always people grabbing at her or whatever. And it's like, honestly, I don't really care. It's not my business. She didn't like it, but I'm like, when I'm ready, when I want to have the conversation, we'll have it. But it was about 6 months ago. It was this year. We had the conversation.
Did that change anything once you found out how much she earned?
No. I mean, I knew it was a lot. She's on television.
Right.
But it still does nothing for me. It's still hers. I still got to go to work Monday,
If I may share, and if it's too much, just
you can share whatever.
say I'm doing too much.
It's too late.
When Vaughn decided to move to Georgia, because he's from St. Louis, when he decided to move to Georgia, I was already in the home that we live in now. And he was like, I don't feel like this is my house because this was your house.
I didn't want to live in there.
He was like, I don't feel like this is mine. But he was like, look, if I am paying the mortgage for more than 6 months, then I can see this as our home. And he stepped up to that plate. And he was like, this is Trina Braxton's house until Mr. Scales is paying for it. So now he finally sees it as the Scales home because he's the one who accepted all the financial responsibility for the house. And you can't do anything but respect that.
Oh, yeah.
For him as a man, because he was like, until I have that contribution, this is just yours.
Right.
Now it's ours.
Right.
But he wants you to know he's a provider.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
And he grew up with a man who was a provider.
And more than that, is there are a lot of guys that would walk in your lives that you be like, I can see myself up in here, and then lay on the couch.
I have one of those.
You can't see yourself up in my house.
And expect you to go out and work and everything, and he's just chilling on your dime.
No.
And it's just, I'm not him.
Yeah.
I consider myself grateful every day for my husband. I do.
Yes.
Y'all, we could talk forever.
We
tell people where they can find you and what's coming up next. Go.
Okay, well, we have a joint Instagram. It's called tipping_the_scales. Tipping the scales, because that's her last name. And then, of course, I'm Trina Braxton 1 and Trina E. Braxton on Facebook. He's Vaughn Scales on all of his social media platforms.
Because nobody tried to steal mine because I wasn't famous. Weird.
What does that have to do with anything?
You think you're not famous. You're becoming famous, whether you realize it or not.
He's already there.
Yeah.
He gets them. I don't see myself as famous, though. People recognize me, but
you know what?
There's
you're
a
not
difference
famous,
between
you're legendary.
But there's a difference between who I am and what I do.
Thank you.
And there are certain aspects of that people don't get, that they don't understand.
The outside sees one
and
thing.
I understand what the outside sees, but I'm grateful enough to know what he saw. He didn't see Trina Braxton. He saw Trina Braxton.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And there's a difference.
Yep.
And I want to be home and be that person who, makes him dinner every night and who I don't wash and fold clothes. I'm not gonna lie, unless it's towels. I love I fold the best towels.
And you do it wrong. But go ahead.
But anyway,
I always repeat.
The rest of the house is completely clean, but our bedroom looks like we're moving out tomorrow.
Because you have too many clothes.
I don't have too many clothes.
You see this?
I had to.
This is what we're going to do. We're going to have Trina and
room.
Vaughn back. And we're going to check in on these guys. They are hysterical, right? And honest. But that's honest. They're honest.
Oh my gosh.
But
this has been amazing.
We got to wrap it up.
In my closet.
And we always go with one to go on, one to grow on. You want to take it first?
Okay, I'm ready. We're ready.
Well, you said it already earlier. You might want to repeat yourself. Go ahead, repeat yourself.
No, what I said earlier, it really was one to grow on. But at the same time, what I'm recognizing here in this conversation is just such this strong testosterone, this strong male presence, the alpha man, which as women, alpha or non, we always say in our girl groups, that's what we want. We want a man's man. We want somebody that's going to pull out our chair, somebody that's not going to let us pay the bills, someone who's going to be a provider as well. But what I've learned is we say we want that, and when we get it, we have to allow them to be
it comes with
that
conditions.
Man.
If you want this, you got to do something too.
Did you throw that up?
He did. He did.
But also give them space to be the man that we say we want, that we're so attracted to. Learn how to be soft. Let him open the door. I had to catch myself a few times. Go and let him open the door. Don't try to fight and pull the check back and forth. Let that man be the provider he wants to be.
Yes. But
with that said,
Oh,
You
Lord,
took,
here
was
we
that
go.
the grow on?
That was the go on. You
That was
get the
go on?
grow on.
All right, here we go.
Here's one for the grow on for me that I take away from this conversation. Never approach a relationship with how can I win this disagreement or this argument or this debate? Always approach it with a compromise and understanding. Never be in competition with your significant other, because even if you think you win, you both
When
lose.
you lose,
Ooh,
right?
you
When you
both
lose.
Okay?
lose.
You got to be in it together. And that's where we're going to stop it.
Marriage and Money Podcast
Yes,
with
it
Egypt
is.
and Mike, y'all. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to check out the show,
Yeah.
Married to Real Estate on HGTV. We
And
love
Discovery
y'all.
Plus.
Yes.